Ah,
You know, it's like every Tuesday, we want to see if everybody got the memo. Jeff and I were definitely matching today.
yep,
Red Burgundy Tuesdays is what we like to call it.
that's it, man.
So nothing better to actually get the show started, and let's see where it takes us today.
Let's go. Let's do this.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
We got the main man, Daman. Good morning to you, my brother. Hopefully, you're doing
Hey,
well.
Damon. Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
nice to see you this morning. Jeff, I know we were talking offline about what we're going to talk about today because normally we
Yeah.
usually have a guest on here, but we couldn't make it happen this week. So, with that being said, we were kind of going through the topics and we're like, okay, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that. And it's like, for us, it's about the engagement with everybody to understand, like, hey, we're not just doing the same stuff over and over again or doing the same stuff that other kind of like shows and everything like that is doing. So, I want to bring up something that I was listening to on the weekend, and then maybe we could spiral from there and kind of see what your thoughts are. I was listening to a podcast on the weekend. It's with Deepak Chopra and Jay Shetty, and they were talking about success versus happiness. And one of the things that really stood out for me was that happiness is basically yourself. When nobody's looking, yourself looking at the mirror. How do you feel about yourself? What do you look at in the mirror? How do you feel about yourself and the things that you've done? And success is outward in terms of like accomplishing your goals, accomplishing promotions, different things like that. And it made me think about that because sometimes we kind of get both of them mixed together. And, you want to think that, hey, maybe if I get that promotion, then I will be successful, or I will be happy. Or, hey, if I just add some more money onto the thing, then I will be more happy. And Jeff, I kind of want to get your kind of like old school thought on it because like I
Yeah.
know with your mindset and things like that, what basically keep you going every day? Is it success or is it happiness?
I think it's both. I think it's relatable. And, do you have to be successful to be happy? No, not really. It all depends on how you define happiness. It could be happiness, having dogs or your family. It could be many different things. And success, is money in the bank, where you started, where you're at now. Now, you could get a promotion and you think that that would make you happy, but maybe that wouldn't make you happy because now you've got a tremendous workload on there and more responsibilities, which is taking away from your personal life, right? So, is happiness success or success happiness? I mean, it's a fine line. It's a balance between the two. Now, you know, I've always looked at it that I wasn't looking for promotions or anything. I just did my job and I did it well when I was a kid, and I just moved up the ranks and fell into those positions, which I'm very, very grateful for. Was I happy about that? Yeah, I was pretty happy about it, telling my girlfriend at the time and now my wife, it's like yeah, we look forward to those things, but there's a lot of uh, you know, takeaways from what success is. Um, and like I said, it's not always happiness. Money isn't happiness. It really isn't. A lot of people would, you know, rebuke that and say, "Oh no, I got a tremendous amount of money in the bank. I've done this, I've done that." But is it really happiness?
Mhm.
What did you sacrifice to get to that? So I don't know. How do you feel about that? I just see it many different ways.
No, I think that's something I definitely agree on. For me, Jeff, the things that make me happy are the things that really don't cost anything, like being able to walk my dogs, get that vitamin C out there, sorry, vitamin D out there, and
Yeah.
just have that like connection, right? But I know as we're kind of going in our careers, success and money, and we always talk about money. And a good friend actually told me something that it like, the money is the root of all evil. It's not that, it's the consumption of only wanting money. So you're picking money over your family. You're picking money over everything else. You're so consumed by it. That is the true root of evil, right? And
Mhm.
And I truly believe that, they got to be a cohesive balance between each other.
Yeah,
Because, like, you have that success, you have a little bit more money in the bank. Okay, well, hey, you take your girlfriend, you take your wife or boyfriend, whatever you're saying, we don't got to eat McDonald's tonight, but
right.
you're content with eating McDonald's. You can go have a nice meal and things like that. And with our industry, Jeff, I think that because we often see, we see that hustle culture. We see everything that's on. People are hustling. We saw an amazing post by different people, and everybody has different definitions of success and happiness.
I
Um,
think everybody has a different definition of what hustle means.
that's true. Perfect. I love that. Actually, you know what? I want to pick your brain on that. So, to you, Jeff, what does hustle mean?
Hustle to get the job done, to get there before other people get there, other companies get there, hustling to get money. I mean, it seems like it's all built around that because you look at the word hustle. What are you hustling for? I mean, define that. The whole hustle culture. Okay, so people working harder, are they working smarter? What's the end result from that? I think is the question of the whole of the hustle culture. I don't. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when it comes to hustle, I think it's the same exact thing. You're just pushing yourself beyond, outside of it, right? You look at a traditional, let's say, 40-hour week and stuff like that, and it's like I'm hustling. It's that,
Well, that's
I'm
a
doing that 60
that's.
hours.
I hate to interrupt you, but I
Yeah,
mean, but you're in you're in logistics and supply chain. Who isn't hustling? I mean, it's not a
that's true.
whole hustle culture. If you're in this, you automatically are hustling because things are changing all the time. You have to be on top of your game. You have to hustle to get the job done, to respond. I mean, there's so many different things within the logistics and supply chain industry. It's it's crazy. I mean, downright crazy when you think about it. But I don't care what generation you're in. We all done it at one time, except they redefine work as hustle
Yeah.
in this industry. I mean, that's what it really comes down to, but it's nothing special. It's any any guy, any woman, man out there that's been in the industry for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years will tell you this industry, you have no choice but to hustle.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the logistics side, the operations side, the sales side, we're all hustling. We all have jobs to do. It's a challenging position that always changes every single day. It's always been a hustle culture. So I don't really stand it the way that the new generation understands it because it's the same to me
Yeah, it's
anyway.
been the same from, like, the beginning, and I love that you said that, Jeff, because when I first got into the industry, it was like that, but we were like, we had those hours, we hustled within those hours, we worked. I don't wanna use the word hustle anymore, but we worked because we have to collect our paycheck, right? It's a results-driven industry if you're in sales or anything like that, right? And,
Or you're
you
out,
know
or you're out. It's not a 9 to 5. It's
you know
definitely not
what?
a 9 to
I
5.
love to debate this with people because it is a 9 to 5 if you set it up the right way, and when I say that, Jeff, is that I was at a company, the first company that I was at, and I was there for 2 years, and I've literally saw everybody, even myself, do this logistics industry on a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, no weekends, and I'm
Are
talking
you
about my boss was putting in 200 to 300K GP every single month,
Mhm.
clockwork, and,
Right.
so it's whatever you set it up to be, right? Because I know when we kind of get into the industry, we're obviously trying to knock on some doors and stomp the pavements, and you want to be differentiate yourself. You're like, I'll always pick up the phone. Call me at 12:01. I'll always pick up the phone, and that's what you want to be. You want to be that availability, right? But if you set yourself up in any way, you can be so successful, right? Because
Oh,
Jeff,
yes.
like, how
Yeah.
many people have set up their businesses where they're probably in Bermuda or Barbados, check the phone maybe once or twice, and then it
I
just runs on
agree.
autopilot,
I
right?
I
So,
will agree, and the way that they're doing it is that they're not doing it themselves. It's their business, but they're setting it up because they have backroom support, front room support. They have all the key people and the right mechanisms in place in order to make that happen. So they may have a 9 to 5 job, but the back room and the front office support teams, they're not working 9 to 5. I can tell you that right now. If you're an entrepreneur and you have nobody working, and let's use the hustle culture,
mhm.
you're not working 9 to 5. I don't care who you are. I mean, if you're building your company and you're trying to get revenue and GP and all that kind of stuff, I can assure you, you're not working from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock. I mean, especially if you have customers on the West Coast, you're
Yep.
automatically adding another 3 hours to your day. I don't care who the
Well, I
hell
think,
you are.
I love how you say this
It's
because it's a healthy, yeah, it's a healthy debate because like I saw the complete opposite. I wish I could show it to you because we were just simply just literally worked. We didn't have cell phones. We never took our laptops home. We literally left everything. So if anything, and I would
back
say
in the
maybe,
day. True.
yeah, like you
True.
just
Back in
didn't
the
have
day.
that.
Yeah.
So it could be different now, right? I haven't been there for 4 years, right? But that's the
Right.
way that I kind of saw it. And just kind of get to the comments here, like, like acting like hustle to Lisa's like acting with a sense of urgency. And I think that's so important because hey, if you get that text or you get that call at let's say 7 p.m. or while you're having dinner, it's understanding what's urgent and what's not urgent, right? It's prioritizing because Jeff, how many things are actually urgent when you get it, right? And
Oh, it depends. It depends on the phone call. Are you making that phone call or are you receiving it? Obviously, if somebody is calling you, I would I would bet the house on it that it's urgent. You got a customer that's reaching out to you. You got a carrier that just broke down, right? You got to
yes.
respond. You. I mean, come on. How many times have you had a carrier that broke down on the side of the road and he's giving you an update? Right. And he's saying, listen, I'm not going to make the delivery on time. Boom. What are you going to do? You're going to sit on it the next day and say, hell with it, man. I'll give him a call in the morning, man. I'm off duty right now.
Yeah,
No, you're not going to do that,
not gonna
man.
do
You're
that.
going to be on that phone and you are going to try whatever you possibly can to reach whomever you need to reach out to. At least I do anyway, to tell them, hey, listen, they may have to adjust their labor force in the morning, expecting a truck or two that's not going to show up. So now you're giving them the ability to adjust their operational schedule, move that labor to some other area in the DC or in the warehouse, right? So they can still be efficient and then plan for the delay, whatever that delay means. He may have blown a tire,
Mhm.
2 or 3 hours downtime. That means the next day he's going to arrive 2 to 3 hours later. But you're not going to sit on something like that. And in this industry, those things happen. It could be weather related, a act of God that you have no control over. I mean, those are the things that we face every single day. We
Yeah.
do.
And I think a part of that is like designing your life too, because, Jeff, you mentioned like, hey, if you get a text at that time, and the one thing that for success for me has worked for me is that all my pickups, to be honest with you, Jeff, usually happen before 2 o'clock during the day, Eastern time.
For sure.
I don't have shipments that usually go on in the night. It's very rare, very, very rare for me to have a shipment that's after hours. And that's part of my qualifying. When I'm talking to a prospect, hey, what are your shipping hours? And there's different niches in the industry. Like, let's say if you're
Oh,
doing food,
absolutely.
that's 24 hours, right? But it just depends on your niche, right? So I really think, like, when it comes back to success and happiness, what is happiness for me is making sure that like those pickups are before. So I rarely ever, even my team, they rarely have to deal with anything after hours because I've set up my things that way. And like you said, you really got to pick because you said you worked in like the CPG previously, and those
Oh,
things
yeah.
are
Oh,
24/7 and things like that, right?
automotive 24/7, dude.
Yeah, see, I would never do that, right? Because my happiness and things like that.
Well,
But
I'm looking
um,
at the worst case. I'm looking at the worst case scenarios. You're talking about pickups during the day. Sure, you're getting them.
mhm,
What happens after the pickup and the carrier's on the road and he's driving? Those are the things, right? So what happens if you live on the East Coast, but all of your clients live on the West Coast? Automatically, you're either going to adjust
yeah,
your schedule and push it out 3 hours, right? To work that 9 to 5 will be a 12 to 8. I mean, when you think about it, right? Because
mhm,
West Coast, a 12 is a 9, right? And an 8 is a 5. So I mean, so it really all depends. So, but if you have different clients, different niches that you're working in that are on East Coast time, Central time, Mountain time, Pacific time, you're going to be working, man. It's what happens after the shipment is picked up that's going to kick you in the ass. I mean, seriously. I mean, everything could go like clockwork, man. You've got your schedule. They're banging the dock at 2 o'clock, like you said. They
mhm.
make the pickup. All of a sudden, man, you're eating dinner. It's 5 o'clock. They're 3 hours out. 3 or 4 hours out. Hey, Ryan, it's Jim. Listen, I'm stuck on 95. I blew out a trannies. My truck is going to be in the shop. I got to repower this. You're on the phone, dude, for a little while. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
right now.
you're dealing with that, and those are the very rare occurrences too, right?
But it
Because
happens.
like well, it definitely happens, but it's not a part of my career to kind of like deal with that, right? In terms of,
Right.
hey,
And
I'm gonna deal with this
winter
weekly.
too. I mean, think about the winter months,
Well,
accidents.
winter is a great one because that's where you set it up, right? And Damon brings a great point here when he was talking about, you can create whatever you want in this industry. And that's what I love so much because
Yes,
I love to hear those different things, right? If you're making 20K a month, make some investment and assistance. If people get greedy, try to do everything themselves
true.
and risk the burnout. And, work with your teammates, look at your options and create the preferred work life. And that's what I've done, Damon, that I love so much because, hey, I
Same
picked
here.
industries that work for me. I've picked, like I said, the pickups happened before too. I will never work with a West Coast customer. That's just not my thing. I stay in the East Coast. I got a map here. I'm like, okay, I drew a line for the East
Feel the
Coast, and
line in
that's
the
it.
sand.
Well, at the end of the day, this industry is so big. We talk about it all the time. Like, why wouldn't I want to work with customers that I want to work with? Right? Like at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna say no to somebody who came from the West Coast, but I know what the time is gonna allot there. And DJ brings a great point here by saying, like, the great thing is that you get to choose with who you do work with, right? And
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I mean, so I said you draw that line in the sand until the wind blows. Then that line is no longer visible. And those are the things that happen. Now, as an entrepreneur, yes, I will agree that you can create the schedule that you want to work on. Look, if you want to work 3 or 4 hours a day, that's up to you. You can
yeah,
create
God bless.
whatever you want, right? And you can walk away and live with the results. It's your business. Do whatever you want. If you work for a company, though, it's expected of you that if shit hits the fan, you got to respond,
Yeah.
no matter which way you look at it. You go on business trips. Okay. You work for a corporation. As soon as you get on that plane, that company owns you 24/7 until you come back. They tell you to jump, you say how high. I don't care who you are. Yeah, I mean that's the way that the industry ticks. It always has ticked that way. Whether you're whining and dining your customers, that's time, right?
Yeah.
That's time well above 9 to 5. Early morning meetings. That travel time. You're not going to get back at 9 o'clock. I mean, there's so many different examples we can go through, but again, entrepreneurship, yes, you can create a 9 to 5 or a 7 to 3, whatever you want, but you just have to be ready for the results on that. You get out of it what you put into it. Everybody knows that. You've heard it.
Hmm.
But my greatest happiness, Ryan,
Hmm.
it's not what I'm doing. It's actually helping other people. I
Yeah.
love helping other people. I love being on this and sharing some of my experiences. I know you do too. I think that's the biggest takeaway, that I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do so and talk on other podcasts and help other people, and that they can always reach out to me, bang stuff off of me, and I can name other people in the industry who do the same thing. And I would most likely say, with high probability, that they would say that their greatest happiness is having the ability to either help a competitor, their
Yeah.
peers, or other people within the industry, and make it a better place to work in. That's my real pure happiness on this.
And you know what?
Absolutely.
That's your genuine happiness. I kind of want to get comments because like everybody kind of brings up some great points here. And Jenny says here, if we're informed accordingly, we can arrange. Man proposes, God disposes. I love that so much.
Yeah,
However, we got to be ready to deal with anything, right? And Damon kind of brings up a great point here. Where I was saying here too is like you can even get phone systems that ring on different phones during different hours. Get creative. This is
absolutely.
what we can do. There's different solutions to look for. Even better, you can create new solutions and make more money. And that's what Dan was talking yesterday about, like his student. His customer out of pallets. He needs pallets, so he went and did the work. He did the grunt work. He didn't need to do that, right? And that's kind of like
No,
thinking
that's it.
off the backs. And good morning to Nick. First time seeing you here. In my opinion,
Hey,
working
Nick.
smart, not just about working hard. Is there
Yeah,
such thing as a 9 to 5? And it's a great topic to think about because 9 to 5 is for different industries and different things like that. But we get to create the life that we want. And I genuinely love that, from what we kind of do. And Nick kind of brings a comment with you talking about giving back here. Is like, it's about giving back indeed, Jeff, because
Absolutely, Nick.
that's, you kind of put that into the universe, right? Like you said, like you help out at the where's it, the truck stops, and you give out gift cards and things like that for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And you know what, it didn't cost you anything of their time, but that guy who was complaining about his being a flatbed driver and stuff like that, he appreciated that 10 to 15-minute conversation that he had with you, right?
Absolutely.
So
Hey, I got a question for you.
let's go.
Okay. So you go to a client meeting, right?
Mhm.
And they want to know the hours that you work. Okay. Because
Mhm.
they said sometimes they say, you know what, we have after hours. Are you going to tell that customer that, hey, just want to, throw that out there, but I only work 9 to 5? Just
So
so it's a case that those things happen. I understand, but I'll take care of you in the morning. I promise I'll be there for you. You gonna
so
say that?
okay, well, first of all, like that, like for me, when I'm qualifying my customer, so I'm not going to go and meet somebody blank. I never meet somebody
Oh, no,
cold.
no, right.
Yeah, so I've qualified them to understand what their hours are and everything like that. And I'm not saying that I just work like a 9 to 5 or anything like that, but if situations do arise, we're there to kind of to absorb it and kind of go from there. But this is a great question, because that question has never come up. And I'd definitely say, like, hey, it depends on the needs. Like, what do you guys ship? What are you guys moving? Because if it's a 24/7 operation, it's nothing that I'm interested in, to be completely honest with you. I'm looking for something that fits within my niche and works with my balance. So hey, if it's something that 24/7, I'd say no, I'd walk away. I'm not here to answer emails at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. My sleep is much more
Oh,
important than
either
that,
do I.
right?
I can tell
Yeah.
you I don't do that. A
Yeah.
long time ago, I used to do, webinars with guys in China that
Whoa.
suck at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That Japan,
Whew.
terrible
I'm done.
stuff, man. So no, I don't do that anymore. I can tell you that right now. But I think that if you were honest in that sense. I know you're honest and your integrity is just as important as mine. But
Mhm.
I think that if you laid that out in terms and said to them that way, I think you would lose business
Mhm.
because, the industry right now is moving at a high rate of speed, and things are not just challenging because they've always been challenging, but the evolution and the way that it's revolving around many different things, from the disruptions we've seen many of them. I don't think that it's possible in this day and age to actually really say 9 to 5. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think it's possible because there's just so many moving parts. You're learning and you're trying to understand what's going on. So these customers and clients out there are not going to go, oh, that works for us. There's no way, because they're adjusting it just as fast, if not more than what we are. And we sometimes have to catch up, to be on the same page as them in order to serve them correctly. So yes, when you get to that point, you have to start building your inner team and start delegating positions.
Yep.
Okay, Donna, you got the 9 to 3 o'clock. Hey, Jim, you got from 3 to 9 o'clock, and do things like that. Almost like shift work. You're still working that 9 to 5, but different shifts. And some people like that. Some people like to work that afternoon. Maybe they have kids or something like that. They go to bed early at night. I mean, there's many variables to this, but the
100%.
industry works around the clock.
Yeah, and like Nick brings up a point here when he was talking about, like his clients are mainly US based, and so the time difference requires him to work late. But having said that, he
Sure.
gets to give him time early in the day to spend with his family. Crucial to do
Oh,
both and do both well, right? And they come hand in hand, right? And family
yes.
and work deserve you and that's what I like too. Like, work deserves you at 100%, and that's why I truly believe, like, hey, if you're gonna half-ass it or if you're anything like that, just don't do it. Like if you're gonna half-ass that cold call, if you're gonna half-ass that meeting that you have, just don't do it. Get yourself ready and primed up to basically go ahead and crush it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But that balance is critical, and collaboration is key. You know it, DJ. How many times have I said that? I always laugh at that because you hear it, read it, and see it more often nowadays when a lot of us old folks have been collaborating for many, many decades and do it very, very well. And I'm glad to see that this generation is doing it, because it's so key to the success. On the shipper side, on the service provider side, and the carrier side. When instead of being out like this, when you can come together and be fine tuned, magic happens, my friends. You'll see things, better ways of engagement,
Yeah.
follow ups, long term business relationships. It is the way to go. And those who are not doing that and not willing to adjust, I feel sorry for you, man. I
Yeah,
really
it's
do.
it's a lonely road, if you're
A
not doing it, it's a
lonely
very
road, man.
lonely road.
That path you're gonna go off the rails on that. You will. It's just a matter of time, but you're gonna get derailed, and it's gonna affect you something fierce. Trust me on this.
Yeah, and you know what? Like it doesn't cost you anything to collaborate with people and understand that, right? And Damon brings up a point here, like, if you want to even outsource your stuff, they have team members based overseas, and the
Uh-huh.
nighttime is their time, and it works out well, 24/7 balanced service, and it's balanced, and you know, um,
Yes, it does, Damon.
yeah, it definitely does, and definitely agree with it. Thanks so much, DJ. You were definitely having fun for a rant. This is truly ad hoc today, Jeff. Like, I don't care
Oh,
what
it
anybody
always
says.
is. I love it, man.
Yeah,
Just
this is
throw it up.
awesome
It's just
because
like throw it up. It sticks on the wall, and it's just like, okay, we'll go
yeah.
with it.
And you know what? It's cool because like I'm able. One thing I love about this show, Jeff, is that we don't all have to agree on the same thing, and we're all
You
friends here,
don't.
and then we can have these healthy discussions because
Yeah, and you
nobody
know
wants to hear a
something,
yes
Ryan?
man.
Ryan? This is great segue. People, audience that are out there, this is how it works. When you can agree to disagree, long-term business relationships will bloom like you wouldn't believe. You don't always have to agree with somebody, but you can respectfully disagree and still carry on with your life, still have friendships,
Yeah,
still have fantastic business relationships. But that is key. Don't make it all about you, more about them than yourself. Be a better listener, understanding, try to really understand where they're coming from, and then on the backside, hopefully they will have that same feeling with you. And that's how things happen, folks. That's how things happen. That's why we can smile.
yeah, it's awesome, and you know that being able to listen, and one thing I've learned, Jeff, and I've read it all over the place, was that when somebody's talking to you, don't listen to respond. Really take it in, really marinate it, really take it in, and then kind of give your thoughts, because we're not here to. We can all get our points across, we can all talk about whatever, but if you're not digesting anything and thinking it from a different perspective, then it's like, okay, I don't care, and it doesn't do you any benefit. And coming back to collaboration and even like success and happiness, I know you're a very happy person when you're by yourself and you're like not necessarily lonely, but you've known that you've done the best for your customers, you've done the best for your family, you've done the best for your friends, your whole circle. Like, look at everything you do with like the New Jersey Luminaries
Yep.
Association. You're progressing our industry forward, and that's what I think.
I'm trying. I mean, we're still in the baby steps, and it's evolving. We're not going at a tremendous pace where we have to say, "Come on, guys, we got to get this done tomorrow." It's not going to happen that way. We're really trying to build content, and something that's extremely valuable that nobody else has, which will be the key differentiator. And it takes a little bit of time to do that. Anybody can throw a club together and exchange cards and do all this kind of stuff. It's the same thing. We don't want the same thing. I don't want the same thing. So it takes a little time to be different. And that's great, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, you're building the foundation, right? Like at the end of the day, like you look at these clubs and things like that. Like I'll tell you this, like I want to be better at how I speak because I say a lot of likes and ums and things like that. And
oh, I do
I
too.
I started going to Toastmasters. We have a local Toastmasters club here in Ajax, Ontario, and just being able to be around people from different sectors and knowing that we all want the same goal. And I think that's really like valid for like logistics and any type of
Oh
sales
yeah,
role as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's like,
But
well,
you know you're doing this. I mean, I wish I was part of a whack-a-mole, and every time I said somebody would hit me in the freaking head.
Well, you know what's funny? Before the show started, I went and got my dog's like shock collar, e-collar. So I'm like,
Oh,
here, if
yeah,
she barks, like, so I
that's
feel
a
like
good
we should get it
idea.
for ourselves. Like, we'll
Yeah,
control it, and if anything
I
happens, we'll just
gave
shock
it to
her.
my daughter, and she hears me.
Jeff, this
But
was
it's
fun.
so
I
true
love this.
because you know something? When you're really thinking deeply, that comes out. I think it's just the passion. I mean, you do certain little things as well because you want to say so much. You have little time to do so. So you throw that, the optimal word, it's like it's natural. But when you have a passion, it's like when you have those conversations with your client and you know that they're dead wrong, you just want to interrupt them right then and there
Mm.
and go, no. It's that passion, it's that drive, it's knowing when you are absolutely right and you can't hear what they're saying anymore. You just got to intervene, and it's like, wait, just wait, listen, wait, and then come back like a full head of steam, just lay it all on that table, man.
And that's what I miss from the old days, Jeff. Like let's say I was to ask you a question like, "Hey, who won the World Series like 10 years ago?" We can hop on our phones and get that answer right away, but I miss the old days where like we wouldn't know, like we would guess about it and then we'd move on, It's not like, "Oh my god, I got to be right. Here's factual, it's black or white," or things like that. And those are things that you're so right, like talking about your customer. And okay, you saw that one there. But Jeff, I truly love this discussion. This
Oh
has
yeah,
been
same here,
awesome.
man.
It's been a lot of
Always.
fun. It's been a lot
Yeah.
of fun. So I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. A lot of interaction, and we'd love to kind of get your thoughts on these kind of conversations that we have,
Yes,
because
please.
it's just not us talking. We want to learn. Like I've learned so much from everybody here. So please check in. I always look at our podcast. We'll be hitting the replay at 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time on
Yes,
LinkedIn,
and
Facebook,
also,
Twitter.
yeah,
Yep.
also to our audience, if you have a topic that means a lot to you and you want to discuss it a little bit, we can elaborate on our own feelings about that specific topic. That would probably help you out, if we can. So don't be afraid to, throw that in the comment box and say, hey, how about this? We'll be more than happy to jump on it. And if we don't have the answers, we'll find them, and we'll even bring in, SME on that to discuss that further if it's going to help you out. So don't be afraid to throw it in that comment box.
Yeah, 100%. We can always have like mailbox, like a day that we just deal with mailbox and like, hey,
Yeah,
let's go through it, and
I
just
would
kind of
love
completely go
that.
through it.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
that'd be awesome. Like, if we kind of go through a PTI. So everybody have yourself an amazing day. We'll see you tomorrow for Data Day
Out
with
of day, man.
Dean.
My
Best day of
favorite
the
day.
week. So let's get to it. Have yourself an amazing day. Take care,
Yep.
everybody.
Have a great day, guys.
Centurion Trucking, our motto is people before profit. Today's market requires more transparency, consistency, and focus on what our clients need to win. Centurion Trucking and American Logistics are poised to help their clients achieve and surpass their targets. If you're looking for a team that honors your needs, dreams, and aspirations, then get a hold of Daman at American Logistics or Centurion Trucking and start designing your